Hey guys, Tonster back. Got or Tony, as I'm otherwise known. I have some footage for you of a pour we did a couple weeks ago. I should have put it up earlier, but I did not. It's this is Douglas County Farmers Co-op, and it's about 10,000 or 16,000 square feet. I'm sorry. It's 100 by 160, the section that we're pouring today. And I'm going to go ahead and get the video started for you. We're just getting to the point where we're starting to finish this. And I'm just going to point a few things out for you as we go. So we're going to kind of pause it here and there. But this is the loading dock. And as you can see, there is a drain down at the bottom of the loading dock, so it does not fill with water. And these openings are for pit leveler dock levelers. So these dock levelers they're super strong, but they're manually operated, and there's two of them, and they set it up so that the truck does not have to be at the exact height that the dock is. So really handy stuff, and really good for our client who unloads a fair amount of trucks, you know. So that's kind of that, and we've got that set up, getting ready to pour that. And at the same time, we've got over here this 40 by 110 shop, and this is open one side, and it's designed that way. You can see we're currently using it for some of our equipment. It's going to be filled with metal building insulation soon, because we're getting our metal building on the 16th and 17th. But for now, it's kind of wide open, and we still have to get lights in there and whatnot. But we poured this slab quite a while ago. I had some pictures of it, but I did not take drone footage of it. And so this took about 2 weeks to erect this portion of the building. Now, on other videos, I haven't really talked about some of the choices the owners made, but these are concrete blocks, and they're just like Lego blocks. We call them eco blocks, and they're made locally out of the concrete that is left over when someone over orders concrete. So the concrete supplier has to do something with that concrete. So they, of course, build these eco blocks, and we're able to use them. They're keyed in. They're about a foot below grade. Right now we're about a foot below grade, so the bottom of them is showing. But we got about 9 inches of crushed rock to go in here, and then 3 inches of asphalt paving. So but they're keyed in, and they have a drain behind them so that it drains out from behind there without getting water seeping through them. But they're great for holding back soils, and also just as a border, because they're relatively inexpensive compared to doing a masonry wall or a concrete wall, or there are some other options, gabion rock walls and that kind of thing. But this is a relatively inexpensive option, and it looks okay. You know, it's the back side of the site. As you'll see, this is the back side of the site over here. And this is the front entry right here. And you can see we've got a bunch of utilities stubbed up. There's in here is where this room here, which doesn't really show, but this is going to be their stock room. Over here, we've got a dog wash stations, which I've never dealt with, but we're going to put some of those in. And I guess they're relatively popular locally. So we're excited about that. That was one of the owner choices. And as I'm going up, you see along here, all these bolts, that's where the main frames of the building go. And they'll go across to this. There's a column here that is recessed in the concrete, and we'll get concrete poured around it. And then we've got on the other side the set of bolts, the corresponding set of bolts, and you set your main frames, and then your purlins and girts and bracing, and off and running. So one thing you'll notice, you can see a little bit of discoloration, and these are the bull float marks here. This stuff is not quite ready to hard trowel finish, but this is the way that they went as far as putting down the concrete. They poured it in lanes this direction, and then the bull floater came in and floated across here. And so you can see those lines, and those will disappear once the hard trowel gets on them. So got some guys working the edges, and this here is, of course, the convenience store, which actually, as of this date, is poured. The concrete's been poured for that, but you can get an idea of the underground that goes in for utilities for a convenience store, because, you know, they've got a lot of equipment that's got to be done. It got to be served. Over here is where the cold cases are going to be, and of course everyone's favorite place, the beer cave, and then they've got a freezer in the corner. And then this room here is the electrical / mechanical room, and you can see all these conduits over here. They are actually going over to a gas station, which they've dug the pit for it, and they've set the tanks, but the pit is not filled in yet at this point. Like I said, this was a couple of weeks ago. Here's where the utility vault for the electrical comes in. So it's a pad mount transformer, and then that goes out and over this way here. And then we've got some drainage here, which I think we're going to drop this drain just because looking at the site, I think it's going to go lower. And there's a storm drain as well. This is, I cannot remember what that is, but at any rate, there's one of the 2 detention ponds. And so when you get into big sites like this, you have to have a place for the rainwater to go and not deluge the city system. So that's what the purpose of this is. It fills up and then it drains out slowly. So, and we'll see if we can see. There's the other pit. It's harder to see because it's a long ways away, but that is the other detention pond. And of course we have 2 entries, and we'll get a look at those later on. But those will get concrete. And there's my job trailer right there. There's me standing there operating this drone. And as you can see, while they're troweling this, they're starting to make it a little bit different color. Now, this is towards the starting of the troweling, but when they get done, it'll be a nice blue. And this is starting to get there, but as you'll see, let's go ahead and continue the video. I'm going to follow this guy that's troweling the area that is not quite ready to be blued in. So it takes a lot of labor to get that done, and so using machines is the absolute best way as we get a nice overview of the whole job. There's my forklift that I bought for for projects like this, and you probably saw my scissor lifts inside the storage building there. So again, we're a ways up. That's me. Yeah. So H3 General Contractors, we do a lot of large type projects, and this is we're really excited to be a part of this one. And this slab, when we walked out on it, there's a few hairline cracks, but for the most part, it came out really, really well. And I want to give a shout out to 3C Custom Commercial Concrete out of Eugene. They're great guys. Sean is great to work with, and economical and conscientious. They did the finishing and the saw cutting, the pour finish and saw cut on this. And so our guys just assisted. You got to have specialized equipment to pour 16,000 feet at a time. So as you can see, I'll see if I can get a little bit of a view here. It's really dependent upon the angle. Let's see if I can get a good view. So you see how we've got, they call those chatter marks. That means we're on it at the right time, and he's working it in a little bit. If you start getting big divots, that means you're on it too early. And you can see a guy kneeboarding around the outside of items that are too close. You don't want to get too close with this machine because it'll rip those right off. Those are actually where the check stands are, and there's some electrical pipes. And he actually did hit one of those with this machine. So one of these guys did. I don't know who. So it happens. We had to tear up a little concrete. It's not the end of the world. It's going to be under a check stand anyway. So you can see, I think that is a better view. You can see it's just moving that a little bit. You know, it's moving stuff around just a little bit. And you know that you're on it at the right time if that's the case. And these guys, 3C, that's what they do for a living. And they just pour concrete, pour and finish. They do setups and things like that. But for me, they just pour and finish. We set up all our own concrete because I want to make sure all these bolts are in the right place. If they're in the wrong place, it is going to cause huge problems for you in erecting the building. And sometimes it can cost big money to fix. So we do like to set up, do all our own rebar, do all of our own vapor barrier, do the forming, and get everything ready. And then we do assist, you know, in some senses. We help the guys out where we can, where we need to. So notice how close he gets to this guy, and he just ran that over, which wasn't great. But he gets really close to his other employee because they are so good at running those machines. Now, you would think that it would be easy to run that machine, but it absolutely is not. If you don't have the blades turned to the right level, it's going to want to turn fast. If you do have them turned down too much, it's not really going to finish the concrete, and it's going to skate all over, and you're not going to have a lot of control. So just like anything else, it looks easy, but that's because the guy that is doing it really knows what he's doing. So I think that's kind of all I had for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Big shout out to Douglas County Farmers Co-op. We're excited to be a part of your project. Big shout out to 3C and also to my employees. If any of them watch this, thank you very much for your work. We started pouring at, we got there at 4 a.m. I think we were pouring concrete at 5, and my guys did not leave until 9 o'clock at night. So concrete waits for no man, and that's just the way it goes. And I appreciate all the hard work that everyone put into this. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time. Tonester out.